Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Cut to the Chase Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Chase Johns. We got the whole panel back in, just like football season. We got Matt Ricketts to the right, Brady King diagonal to me, and down below we got Kris Drew. What's going on with you guys? How y'all doing?
Living the dream.
Yeah, same. I'm living the dream as well. It's been a minute since we talked college football because of the, all the events ending after the national title and all that. But ready to get back to it, especially talking about our Buckeyes today.
Yes, absolutely, sir, I'm ready to roll. We got the group back. Fantastic Four. We're ready to rock and roll.
Cool. I like that. The Fantastic Four.
I like that.
Yeah.
Fantastic Four.
Shoot, man. Hey, I'm going to ask you this before we get into Ohio State talk. What do you do in the off season? Like, what kind of stuff do you watch, Kris? Like, you got any like shows, movies, stuff that you watch, like, in this time where it's just, it's pretty treacherous right now,
Oh man. In the off season, I watch anime.
Yeah.
I'm an anime watcher, big time. It's kind of a little secret. I do. I watch DJ Academics. I watch his live streams in place of like my actual stuff. I don't know. I kind of just browse around YouTube. I kind of take a step back from sports, and I like focusing like all the culture stuff. So just like culture podcasts for my go-to, or anime if I'm feeling like artsy and creative and I'm about to go work out that day. So. But sports wise, I'm starting to get into like CS:GO, just live streams, just because my boy is a real degenerate. He'll gamble on CS:GO overs and unders, and it is bizarre. Kind of the road we've gone down. But I'm a big basketball fan too. So like in the evenings, basketball is like my go-to. Like basketball is my first love. Ahead of football, like ahead of Ohio State football. So I love James Harden, so I watch the 76ers whenever they're on national television.
Okay.
And then I watch the Cavs just because I think I like how the Cavaliers are built, and so I kind of like really hone in this time of year on them. And usually I would say Ohio State basketball, but I'm out. I can't do it.
Man, they just looking rough, man. Like it's talking about the wheels are falling off the car, right, man? It's not looking too good. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I try to watch one of my good friends. His cousin is Sensenbaugh, so it's like,
oh, really?
I try to watch for him, and he's my neighbor back in Akron. And so like talking to him and the Unk and them is really cool. But then it's like, damn, like these boys aren't it. No. So yeah, that's my off-season plan, my off-season diet of content television.
For sure, man. We're gonna have to enlarge your diet, and maybe we ought to watch some March Madness games a little bit down the stretch.
Sure. Man, y'all know how to get a hold of me.
We know what's good, man. We the Fantastic Four, as the great Matt Allen Riggins be saying.
We need to make a graphic. We need to make a graphic that has us as like the Fantastic Four.
You know what I'm
saying?
Fours
up for everybody. For
got
the streets.
That right.
Exactly.
Okay.
Sure.
Shit, man. But yeah, man, we gonna talk about this Ohio State stuff. Overall, Brady, you want to take over with this? I'm just gonna be, listen to what y'all got to say.
I got you. So man, like I'm really excited to talk about this, but also it pains me to bring this up. But I just want to get your thoughts, overall thoughts. You can really talk about anything on the college football playoff semifinal tragic defeat against the Georgia Bulldogs.
I went through phases a little bit. At first, I started with the moral victory route. Like, damn, we only lost by 1 point. Marv got hurt. No JSN. The best game that Ryan Day ever called. So I started there. I didn't start there. I started with, damn, Noah, you sat out the spring and you missed a kick that bad, right when the ball was dropping. And then I went to the moral victory side of it. And then I went to a place where I am really proud of the team. But to just talking about that semifinal game, a couple of things really stood out to me. I was really impressed with Ryan Day's play calling. Ryan Day's play calling was something that was under heavy scrutiny the entire year. A lot of people took issues with the bubble screens. A lot of people took issues with the lack of creativity in the run game. Like there was a lot of frustration with how Ryan Day was calling games, and I think it was pretty fair because I don't know how you all felt, but for me at least, I always felt that Ohio State was like one gear away. It's like when you're driving a stick shift and you're in fifth gear and you're not shifting it. And we saw it for flashes. Like we would see quick 7-minute stints where they put together 3 really quick touchdown drives. But then you'd see 2.5 quarters where the offense looked clunky. You needed like back-to-back third and longs just to keep drives going. And so I thought that Ryan Day as a play caller really put on a masterclass. Now on the flip side, I was confused because Jim Knowles is earning $2 million, and all we want is one stop in the last 8 minutes.
Yeah.
One stop.
Yeah.
It does make me wonder, is his defense a little bit too gimmicky to try to like simulate pressure, and it leaves too many gaps open, leaves too many guys running free, puts guys on islands that shouldn't be on islands? Maybe. Yeah. But do I fault Jim Knowles for the personnel on this team? Absolutely not. I can't do that. That's not fair. My biggest frustration with the defense is that I'll challenge you three. This entire season, how many times did teams have to throw into tight windows to beat us? Because it felt like when I compare this team to other teams, even the 2020 COVID team that had an atrocious defense, it felt like in the semifinal game against Clemson, it felt like Trevor Lawrence had to throw into a lot of tight windows to sustain drives. Against Georgia, it didn't feel like Stetson had to throw in any tight windows. In fact, I counted one NFL caliber throw the entire game, which means which means tight windows were not being created. And so a lot of their scoring came on these huge gash plays. And in my head, I'm thinking, wow, this Ohio State team, the offense showed up. All we needed was 2 or 3 tighter window throws, maybe one more interception, just one more play to kind of shift the game completely. And then I look at the refs. It's like, there's no way Brock Bowers got a first down. There's no way that wasn't targeting on Marvin Harrison Jr. I mean, there's just a whole lot of there's no ways. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating knowing that Ohio State was the second best team in college football last year. And game 1 against Michigan, they got in their own way. Yeah. And the defense gave up some huge gash plays. Game 2, similarly, they got in their own way. They got tight at the end, and the defense gave up some huge gash plays. So that is my synopsis on the semifinal game. I tried to go back and rewatch it 2 days afterwards. Couldn't do it. I did watch the All-22 cam just to see why our defense looked like that.
Right.
Really couldn't get any answers. Just guys on the island, guys getting beat. But all in all, I'll walk away from this season thinking, damn, the Natty was decided on a 50-yard field goal before the Natty. And that one bums me out.
To think that this offseason we were kind of expecting the Natty, rightfully so, but I feel like we were thinking more Bama was kind of the team.
Bama had a super loaded roster. I thought it'd be us and Bama at the end.
Me too. I didn't expect – I guess I'll say I didn't really expect Georgia's offense to be as good as it was because I feel like those guys – I feel like those their skill position players showed up a lot more than I expected. Like Kenny McIntosh was great. Stetson Bennett was greatly improved, I feel like, from even last year when they won it. The receiving core, A.D. Mitchell was back against us. Go figure. Of course, we got to play their best receiver who hadn't been playing all year.
Literally back for 2 games, then skedaddles to Texas. Like, what kind of luck do we draw?
He literally won 2 natties, and now he just entered he said, I'm gone. I'm gone. I'm going. But he had, I think he had he had a kid in Texas or something like that.
Yeah, he had a kid in Texas, and then the NIL opportunity in Texas was bigger, and then there's the theory that he'd seen Carson Beck and he'd seen the backup quarterback in Georgia and just wasn't rocking with it. So those 2 things combined definitely are of note. So back to Texas.
For sure. Yeah, but that makes sense. But like, I agree with pretty much everything you said. Like, these big plays on defense were the death of this team, which it was the opposite of last year. Last year was the chunk plays that killed us against Michigan. I mean, I don't think they had hardly any big plays. It was just boom, 10 yards. Boom,
it was like 8, 7, 10.
Right. Exactly.
Just like wearing you down.
Pound it right down your throat type of thing. And then this year, like, being at that Michigan game, and I think Matt would agree, there'd be times where we would just look on the field at the defense before the play and know a touchdown was coming for Michigan because you could just see the aggression was way too – like, the first 3rd and 9, the first time Michigan got a big play was the hitch route type of thing that
Cornelius missed the
Cam Brown side, exactly. We realized it was cover 0 before, like, so obviously Michigan realized it too. Mm-hmm. And we're sitting here like, oh, please no, get out of this. Touchdown. I'm sitting here like, if we lose this game, I won't stop thinking about this play.
Nah.
I will not stop thinking about this play.
It stings. It's a lot of it's just like the huge passing plays is what it is.
Yeah.
the huge passing plays to receivers who really aren't NFL receivers. Like our defense is making guys that are really fourth rounders at best look like real NFL dudes.
Man, Cornelius Johnson.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Man, ridiculous.
Like not a first rounder. There's no way he should be cooking cats like that. No way.
Man.
No.
I'm going to say this, though. So when you look at like that game between Georgia and Ohio State, you talk about how Ryan Day, that was one of the best play call games that he had. CJ Stroud looked like what we wanted to see from CJ Stroud the entire time.
He pisses me off.
That pisses everybody off, man. It's like we didn't get the job.
Waiting for that for 2 years, man.
Exactly. You give us the last game, you know what I'm saying? But like, I think I don't want to obviously Georgia won a national championship, but I think both play callers on both teams, Todd Monken and Ryan, I think they both called fantastic games. That was a great game to watch from an outside perspective, obviously from the result that happened.
It's an instant classic. That game's an instant.
Yeah, exactly. Classic. I mean, that thing's gonna be playing on a bunch of reruns and all that stuff.
And I'm gonna turn it off every time.
Exactly. We ain't watching. We're not watching that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But yeah,
I'm not gonna be here.
That's some dark times in 2022, man. But 2023 should be looking up for Ohio State. Hopefully, we got a lot of different change coming. We got a lot of quarterback change. We keeping the same running back schemes, all that stuff. Play caller as well. What are you looking forward to in 2023, especially with the spring game, just the off season, not necessarily the spring game, but just in general with the changes that Ohio State has made so far early on in this off season?
I want to see how they roll out the DBs. Obviously the obvious thing is the quarterbacks, and they're going to get all the headlines, and that's cool. And I don't think the quarterbacks will be near as polished for the spring. I think that'll be kind of more of a camp battle. But I'm really curious to see how they roll out defensive backs for a couple of reasons. That third safety role, the one that Tanner McAllister played, does it have to be a safety, or can it be your best cover corner or one of your better cover corners? Because really, at its base, it's just a cover 3 look. And we used to call Sean Wade a slot corner, but it's just a nickel safety the same way that Tanner McAllister was in there. Right. So I'm really curious to see kind of what they do with that slot. Obviously, we know Tanner McAllister's out. He's gone. And he was kind of the mark for us the entire year. And one of the complaints about him was he had a little bit stiffer hips and he wasn't as fast as a true corner, which is why he was a safety. We have Jahad Carter in there now who is going to battle for that role. If he's in there, I'm interested to see how he tackles. Now, if he can't seize that safety role, I'm curious to see if they move a guy like maybe Jair Brown, who's a little thicker, with cover corner skills, but likes to tackle into that role. And if they do they adjust the defense accordingly? So I'm just curious about the safety roles, because right now, obviously, we know Lathan Ransom is back. He's probably going to be the center fielder, which, say what you will, he's had moments where he's really, really good. I think he's really good when he comes downhill, but not good enough to put in coverage. And then you have Sonny Styles too. So it's like, how are we going to deploy these 3 safeties in order to create as much chaos and havoc as possible? And then the cornerback battle, something I'm looking out for too, because I have faith that our quarterback play will be really good. Yeah. What I want to see improve is our cornerback play. Right. I want finally, I don't know how y'all feel, but I miss BIA. I miss knowing that Marshawn Lattimore's out there. No one's catching a damn thing. Yep. I love that. I know defensive coordinators love that. So I'm looking to see if we can get that back. Even Denzel Burke year 1, I felt good thinking, damn, he's a freshman, but every time they test him, he makes a play. Yeah, every time. He's good. Maybe not press man, but he's good. Mm-hmm. Garon Conley, same deal. Press man, that guy's gone out of the game. Yep. Right. Yep. I'm wanting to get back to that, because the better those corners are, the more sacks we're going to get, because the guys aren't going to be running free. And then vice versa. The better our pass rush is, the better those corners are going to be, because they don't have to cover forever. Right. So I'm ready for the return of BIA. I am hoping that 2023 is the year where we have an All-American corner. I don't know if we will, but that's the fingers crossed, because I think when you get late into the season, when you play in playoffs, the one thing you have to do is squeeze somebody. So you have to either neutralize somebody's number 1 receiver, or really stop the run game. And unfortunately for Jim Knowles, we run with 3 safeties, and so run stopping the run's a little bit trickier for us, especially against 12 personnel, just because we can't we're fitting with an extra DB. Yep. So it's like at least take away Lab McConkey, at least take away AD Mitchell, at least take away one receiver, and force a team to beat you with their second best punch rather than their best punch.
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I think the DB group as a whole is very there's a lot of solid, good players in that group. There just needs to be an elite play. I just really want
we have the same wish. Like, who can go be great?
Exactly. Who's the Jeff Okudah of this team? Who's even Malik Hooker at safety? Who's even Jordan Fuller? Jordan Fuller was amazing for us.
Super underrated. Ohio State, fans on Twitter were really begging for Proctor to get more snaps when Fuller was there. When Fuller was so dynamic,
exactly,
he just did everything right and
everything.
Super Bowl champion now,
right?
Team captain year 2.
That's
what I want. I just want somebody to be great, man. I just want somebody because that's a position we just haven't seen anybody be great at.
No.
In the last, since kind of Ryan Day got there, other than that Okudah year.
Yeah, which the only that third base comment that Jim Harbaugh made. The only thing he's right about that is Ryan Day got Jeff Okudah and Chase Young. He did,
yeah.
But then again, 56-27. I'll remember that day. That was a good day.
I was going to say he was also calling plays for Ohio State in absolute smackdown. So
exactly, yeah. I think that's the dumbest argument that Harbaugh could possibly make is that he got murdered his first year against Ryan Day when he was I would say he was on his maybe 6th year at Michigan or 5th year at Michigan, something like that.
Yeah, he was like if you're 5 years in and you can't get to second base, damn, you don't get to comment on people getting to third base,
right?
And like Ryan Day recruited that offense. That was his offense. He had to that, so.
Yeah, everyone on that offense was recruited by Ryan Day.
Exactly.
Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Justin Fields was literally completely brought in by him as the head coach. J.K. Dobbins.
He didn't even meet Urban until he got to campus. It was all Ryan. So
all Ryan. But anyway, I'm with you on that one. The DB unit as a whole, I feel like that might have been ended up being the weakest point of this team this year, which is disappointing. That was kind of the downfall. But anyways, I'm ready to move on if you guys are ready. And I guess I'll roll into this. So you already brought up the DBs, and I think QB is like an obvious one here. But what are some position battles other than those two that you think could be intriguing this offseason?
Defensive end.
Absolutely, yeah.
Is it going to be Caden Curry or Jack Sawyer on the other side? And then also on the interior defensive line, are we finally going to see a world where Michael Hall and Tyleek Williams are starters?
Yeah.
Those are two huge ones. Other than that, it's a pretty laden room. And then if I go to offense, I'm terrified about that left tackle spot. I'm terrified.
Me too.
And part of me thinks that battle is going to decide who the quarterback is, because if there's not a real good left tackle there, and you have to move Fryer out there, or you're not comfortable, or you do throw Donovan Jackson out there, who's kind of unproven and is going to need a lot of work to grow into a real tackle. And it's damn, do you really want Kyle McCord out there? Or do you want Devin Brown who can move? And so, literally the whole offense is being dictated by who wins that left tackle job.
Man, that's
for real.
It's the most important thing right there on offensive line.
That's what I'm saying. Stud had managed to fall into these 5 stars every now and again. In the last 2 years, he just missed on them. Because there was no 5 stars from Ohio.
Right. He got the ones that he was given basically with Paris Johnson. Even Donovan Jackson, he was from Ohio, I believe, originally. So
J.C. Latham got him to commit to Ohio State. So kudos to Ryan Day for holding on to him, and then J.C. Latham ended up going down to Alabama. So that left tackle spot scares me.
Really does. I mean, I really wish because I heard Paris actually thought for a day or two about if he came back and just got his degree, because he's really into
yeah, he's super smart. I love that family entirely, though. I'm supposed to get lunch with Mike at some point. Paris' dad, who goes to Georgia Tech, really solid group, excellent group of people, and it was a conversation about him maybe coming back, but I mean, he's going to be the first tackle off the board. He's looking at $20 million.
Yeah.
That money's percent.
Yeah. He had to leave. That's the sad part. I'm gonna miss him. I'll be honest. He outperformed what I thought. Maybe he might struggle a little bit since he hadn't played tackle yet, which would have made sense. Nah, no struggles there. He came in and he was the best tackle in college football.
He gave up 1 sack all year.
Yeah, exactly. It was 1 sack. And I mean, that's pretty tough when you're protecting C.J. Stroud's blind side. Who C.J. Stroud, he'll hold on to the ball. He really will. So like, it's impressive to allow just 1 sack in your first year. I feel like if we ended up playing Bama, because I remember this was a preseason topic, he would have been cool against Will Anderson. Like,
yeah, that was one of the things that's like on my wish list for this last season. I wanted C.J. Stroud versus Bryce Young. I wanted Will Anderson versus Paris Johnson. I wanted Kool-Aid versus JSN. And
me too. Oh, JSN
would have been Elias Ricks on Marv, which that game would have been a movie. Just like star power, like that would have been a movie. But it is what it is. You know how it goes.
I mean, I wish Marv would get matched up with Terrion Arnold a couple times in that game. That's when we take the shots.
They would not have ever put Terrion on Marv.
Oh man, they would. Nick Saban knows better than that.
Yeah, Nick Saban might have really assaulted Pete Golding on the sideline if that ever happened.
Oh, he probably did when DeMarco Helms was guarding Jalen Hyatt in the Tennessee game.
It was nasty work, and that's why that was an Ole Miss. So,
yeah, exactly. Nick Saban was not sad about that one. He probably told him, I think you should probably go accept that job. Lane's
it's messed up because it's going to be a rental. Like it's going to be like go call plays for Lane Kiffin for 3 years. See how hard it is calling plays without real defensive talent in the SEC. And then whenever our DCs move on, because they always do after 2 years, we'll come get you back. He loves Pete Golding too much, but he's definitely sending him away to go. It's like a training arc for all the anime fans.
It really is. It's just and I feel like Lane Kiffin has so much respect for Saban that he'll listen to really any – like Saban probably told Lane, like, yeah, he's a great dude, like great coach. He's going to take that all day. So, like, Pete Golding really has the connections right now. He really does with those two.
Pete's going to be taken care of for sure.
Definitely. Matt, would you like to ask the next question or –
yeah. Who is your preseason way too early top 5 for next year?
My preseason top 5, I have Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Alabama, Penn State.
Spot on.
Exactly. Let me ask this, okay? So obviously my head has been in the clouds of the National Football League for a minute. I'm not, I haven't really paid attention to college football since Ohio State, really since the national championship. That was, talk about an absolute, there was some criminal activity that happened that Georgia did to TCU. Okay. Criminal. But what, obviously I know Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, and Alabama. What made you put Penn State at number 5? Okay. Because for the common listener, what made you put Penn State at 5? Okay. I
think they're going to have the best running back duo in the country.
Okay. Yep.
Singletary and Allen. I think they're both freshmen and they were both electric last year.
Yep.
I think. Well, here we go. So I have a little bit of a bias towards Drew Aller.
He's Medina. Yep. I mean, he's
from my area. Got to watch a couple of times. I think he's a freak show. The ball jumps out of his hands.
Yeah.
They return virtually everybody on defense, and I think they're taking 2 steps up from last year. Is what I expect from them because they had a lot of freshmen playing and contributing, and then they had Washington come back. Washington was really good. And then you look at their only 2 losses, a close loss to Ohio State and then Michigan, 2 teams that were among the top 4. And if I don't – so with my number 5 spot, I looked at, potential candidates. But if someone asked me today, who do I think is built more sound, Penn State or USC, I think Penn State. I would have chosen USC if they would have done the right thing and fired Alex Grinch. They didn't. So they don't play defense there, which is why they do things like lose the Tulane. But we won't really get into it. Florida State was the other one that I kind of had bobbing and weaving at number 5. Yeah. But when it comes down to it, I just think Penn State is better at this point. I think Penn State has a better offensive line, but Florida State is firmly at 6 for me. So, I mean, my 5, 6, 7 or my 5, 6, 7, 8 are Penn State, Florida State, USC, Washington. And I think Penn State is head and shoulders better than Washington. Yeah. They're more sound than Florida State, and I don't trust USC's defense. So that's why I have Penn State there.
Okay.
I think that like optically they got viewed a little bit differently, but again, their 2 losses were just 2 playoff teams.
Yeah.
If that was Bama that lost those 2, like
I agree. Yeah, my head's been in the clouds for a bit. Okay, so that's I just had to ask about that.
Yeah, and a lot of people aren't going to see Penn State coming.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Penn State has like Tennessee
really good. I think Penn State's going to beat either Ohio State or Michigan next year. I think
I have them splitting also.
I think you're going to see a 3-way split down the middle.
Yeah.
Between all 3 of the teams for the East. Then it goes into like non-conference winning percentage and shit like that, which
will be fun.
Makes Ohio State have a huge disadvantage because we played Notre Dame in the non-conference. So that's a big.
I think Ohio State's going to lose to Notre Dame, but not lose to either of the other 2.
Really?
That's what I'm thinking right now.
Sam Hartman, too much.
Anyway, my last point on Penn State is that I think Penn State will be this year what Tennessee should have been last year if Hendon Hooker doesn't go down.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
that's the air I have them in.
Okay, all right, and then
that kind of backs up Matt's point about.
I think Penn State is going to be better next year than Tennessee was this year. Put it that way.
Really?
Oh,
yes.
Wow.
Okay.
I think this is going to be the best. I think this is going to be the best Penn State team we've seen since the 2017 Trace
McSorley and Saquon. I hated them. I hated them, but they were so fun to
Penn
watch.
State is going to be fucking good. They got Michigan at home, which is going to be the whiteout.
Yeah,
and they got to go to Ohio State.
Wait, how early in the season is that? How early in the season is that Michigan game?
Michigan Penn State. Let me check that real quick.
Yeah, and
so is it before the World Series?
They draw Michigan. Yeah.
That's the big thing because that's where it all gets messed up.
Yeah.
Because you guys know we didn't.
It is. You're right.
You know the reason we didn't.
They draw
didn't
Michigan
play them in a whiteout.
Play us though. For sure.
You said who? You said what now, Chris?
The reason we didn't play them in a whiteout this year was because of the World Series.
Oh, you're right. Because we played them Halloween weekend and all that stuff.
Right.
That makes sense. That makes sense for sure. Okay.
So it's like I think the whiteout could be the difference in that game because Penn State loves to pump sound during the whiteout.
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
Intimidating to play. But if it's not if it's the World Series, no whiteout.
I keep forgetting TV contracts are my thing. How the hell did I fucking forget that?
Week 11. So it's going to be after. Yeah,
week 11.
Just 1 week before the Ohio State game, Michigan plays they have one game in between Penn State and Ohio State, and that's against Maryland. They're going to lose to Penn State. I'm telling you.
When do we play?
I just called it. I already fucking called it. Yeah.
What do you say, Chase?
Do we play Penn State? Hold on.
Go ahead, Chase. Go ahead.
Okay. I was asking, do we play Penn State Halloween weekend again?
No, we played Penn State the week before Halloween weekend. We play We play we're gonna play at Wisconsin. It's gonna be at night.
Camp Randall. Okay. Fickle.
We play at Wisconsin on Halloween. Well, what I'm saying is, if you think about when I said Penn State was better than Tennessee, I mean, think about how shitty Tennessee's defense was. They get blown out by South Carolina. Yeah. I mean, Hendon Hooker was playing in that game until he got hurt or whatever. So
that defense was getting torched. Yeah, he doesn't play defense.
Right.
Penn State is for real. I think I think Franklin made a huge mistake by not throwing Drew Auer into the fire a little bit more than he did this year.
The ball looks different coming out of his hands. Like
it does,
dude, bro.
He's a true 5-star.
So
he's fucking for real. He's going to be a beast.
I love Drew.
He's going to.
I don't want.
He's going to be dangerous.
I wish we could let him out.
Dangerous.
Let me ask this one thing. All right. So I know. Okay. So obviously with these great players that have been coming up, great quarterbacks as well. We don't want to say, Joe Burrow's the next Tom Brady, or all these guys. Just
not me. I'll say it. I don't care.
I'll say it too. I don't give a fuck either. All right, but I'm saying what I'm saying. People on television are all right, let those guys be those guys. Okay, who does Drew Aller remind you of? I think you get
he's Matt Stafford. I'll say that shit, man. I don't care.
Shit. Keep saying it. We're not on television. Keep saying it.
I was going to say Herbert.
Okay.
See, I don't think he's athletic as Herbert. For me, Drake May is the Herbert clone. To me, Drake May.
But look, Stafford's a good athlete too, though. He doesn't have design runs.
He reminds me of
move
Georgia
really well,
Matt
too.
Stafford.
Yeah.
Absolutely. No, I think he's Matt Stafford.
But,
Baseball
bro,
player, sidearm, huge
Okay.
arm,
Oh,
6'5".
That dude has got a fucking cannon, bro.
Got a cannon. See, I'll say it, bro. I don't care, bro.
Keep talking your shit, Chris.
No, I don't care, bro. I don't care about too much fucking pressure for him. I'll say it.
Yeah,
Stafford.
Keep spitting your shit, bro.
I
say it, bro.
Especially
there's
with
no reason to hold back.
With Penn State's best offensive lineman coming back, their best receiver coming back, both the running backs coming back. He's got everything you want as a first-year quarterback. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he's got one true road test all year.
If our offense is Lamborghini, they're like a damn C8 Corvette. Like it's nice in the parking lot.
Yeah.
Bro, we better get Pennsylvania watching this show, man. We are hyping y'all motherfuckers
like
up out there. Okay,
that shit looking real good. Looking real good in the parking lot.
Hey, shit, it
really is. It's at least a Tesla. At least a Tesla.
I don't even know what a Nittany lion is, but
I don't even know.
Who knows? Who knows? I just think.
So again, top 5. But after this conversation, I might have them top 1.
Best team in the country, Penn State Nittany Lions. National title 2024 in. I don't even know where the title is this year. Wherever it is.
Who even knows? Who even cares? They might just win. Man, but
if they do, I will kill myself.
What is a Nittany Lion? Like the mascot, the Nittany Lion mascot has like absolutely no padding. It looks like. What the heck is that? You know?
I don't know.
I'll beat that lion up.
Me too. We should go down. We should go to Happy Valley and just fight that thing.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm not going to Happy Valley, but you have fun.
Yeah. Well, let's have fun with that too.
The big number one question. Question.
All right, bet. Yep.
We'll probably touch on it a little bit too. We'll have you on eventually again at some point. But as of right now, right now, who do you think is going to be the quarterback game 1 next year?
You cooking something up there? What you got?
I got Devin Brown.
Me too. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, me too.
And I think that CJ Stroud may have won the battle for him against Georgia, like the way he moved, the way he ran.
Yeah. And
I also think that like Ryan Day, when he went to go get Devin Brown, got it because he was having PTSD about CJ Stroud staying in the pocket so often. So a lot of times I think that the decisions that coordinators and coaches make to go get their next starting quarterback reflect how they're feeling in the moment. It's like we watched CJ Stroud struggle, not want to run, this, that, and then we went and got a dual threat guy. And then here we go, a little deeper in the bag. Brock Glenn is more of a statue, more of a Kyle McCord type quarterback. And we processed him out midway through the year to go get Lincoln Kienholz, for me, that has the same exact skill set as Devin Brown. Like they both have the same traits, same tools. And so it's like, okay, like is Ryan Day gearing up to make Devin Brown the starting quarterback, knowing that'll drive McCord to the portal, and then your starter and your backup both have similar skill sets, and Devin Brown and Lincoln Kienholz. So I think it'll be Devin Brown, but that is no inside information. That is just a pure guess and me trying to read the tea leaves. I do love Kyle McCord. I think he's got a big-time arm. The Akron tape is rough to watch, but you have to think that he's gotten a little bit better, but he is an alpha. I know that him and Marvin Harrison Jr. have a cool bond, and that would make a great ESPN 30 for 30. It'd be really cool to see them both in New York together. But if someone pointed a gun to my head and said, Kris Drew, who's starting quarterback for Ohio State in this next year, looking at him saying Devin Brown, and him posting that little poker meme, I'm like, all right, bet he all in. I'm all in too. Yeah. So that's where I'm at. I got Dev. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts though.
Yeah, I've been a Devin guy as well. I feel like
I'm new, bro. Let me not even cap. I'm a new Devin Brown guy.
Okay.
I'm a faker. I'm late to the party.
You've been a Kyle guy before?
Yeah. I was a Kyle guy, and I started that Drake May rumor that made him.
Oh yeah. I'm a Drake May guy.
That would have been lit though. That would have been lit for real.
Oh yeah, no,
over the top. Yeah,
it was a little over the top. It was crazy because I got drunk on a Twitter space.
What was you drinking? What was you drinking? What was you drinking?
Crown, bro. Am I girls over?
Thought
and I was making her watch Julian Fleming highlights.
Girls
shoulder. I was drunk making her watch Julian Fleming highlights. She was not loving it. I said, he's doing this shit with one shoulder. It was the high school drag routes that he kept housing.
Oh yeah.
Hopped on the Twitter spaces and I was like, hey y'all, like Drake May, he wants to come to Ohio State, just be aware of it. I was out of my fucking mind. Going on and on. 2 days later, I saw on the message boards, rumor, Drake May flirting with Ohio State. I'm like, hey, yo. So
I wish you spoke it into existence. I would have.
I tried.
That's how we do it, though. That's how you do it.
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
there's still a spring portal window.
Oh, he's not leaving.
No, he's a Carolina boy. But
someone tried to tell me he's going to Bama in the spring.
That's so stupid.
No,
if he's transferring, if he transferred, he would definitely. If he was going to transfer, which he's not, he would have came to Ohio State. Because Marvin Harrison Jr., Emeka Buka, Julian Fleming, Brandon Ennis, I could go on and on. There's
you can.
I could go on. Like I could name about 8 more 4-star receivers plus we have in the room.
Even a couple.
The only way you know.
I think I think Bama would have threw a bag at him for real.
Bama tried to hire Phil Longo.
Throw at him.
They did. They tried to hire. I didn't know about that.
They wanted Phil Longo.
Okay.
Who was his OC at North Carolina and then ended up at Wisconsin with Luke Fickell. They wanted him. The issue is they waited with Bill O'Brien way too long to make like a real play at him. By the time they were looking to make a play, like Phil was long gone. Like Luke Fickell did that very, very quickly.
He did. I was kind of surprised that Phil Longo left so quickly to Wisconsin, to be honest, because he's
battled.
For
he
sure.
Left QB1 like he was not QB1.
Right. Yeah, like
nasty.
In my opinion, Drake May personally is in my opinion, is the best quarterback in college football for next year over Caleb Williams. I just like him more. I think he's better. I think he's a better quarterback. I think he's not going to do it like he's not going to run up towards the line of scrimmage for no reason and chuck it downfield. Sometimes the Caleb will do. Caleb Williams is hero ball, like exactly. Like Caleb Williams is great. I'm not trying to take anything away from him.
Not really, really good player.
Right, exactly. He's great arm, very athletic. Doesn't seem to throw many picks either. It's just Drake May. There's something about that dude that if he was our quarterback, I don't think there's a single. We should absolutely be favored on the road in Ann Arbor with Drake May as our quarterback.
And you don't worry as much about left tackle because they played with poor offensive line play at North Carolina, and he was just all over the place. Like he's a really good athlete. It is good news for college football that Phil Longo left really early because if he was still at North Carolina in the next couple of weeks, he would have been fielding calls from like Bama, Georgia, whenever they lose Todd Monken, like powerhouse schools would have been going after him. Him going to Wisconsin is good. Now the issue is we got to play him, but I'd rather him be at a place without elite talent than at a place with elite talent because he's one of the great offensive minds in college football. He's from the here we go. Fun fact: he's from the Mike Leach air raid tree.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Nice.
That's a little. I mean, I'll be honest though, that is scary. Yeah, God rest his soul for sure. But that is scary to have to play Wisconsin with a potential, downfield passing attack.
Yeah, at Camp Randall, that's gonna be cool.
Yeah, at Camp Randall at night. I'm a little nervous for that game. So. We'll see what happens. If Mike Hall Jr. and Tyleik Williams can just plug that A gap up and stop Braylon Allen, we should be cool.
Now, let me ask Matt, all right? So, Matt, are you a Devin Brown fan as well as the two below us?
I am a Devin. Well, it's not that I'm a fan of her. You know what I mean? I wish both of them best. But, I do think Devin Brown is going to end up being the quarterback. Personally, I think Kyle McCord is he's definitely talented. There's no doubt about it. I just feel like if he was that dude, truly, he would have left this year. I don't think he would have stuck around for 2 years. Does that make sense? I think
that makes a lot of sense. Like guys,
they would have been hopping on, especially with today in NIL and how the NIL deals and the transfer portal, all that stuff. I think he would have ended up being poached, if you will, from another big time school this past spring or as soon as last year ended, if he was that dude, put it that way. You know what I'm saying? So I also think a weird dynamic is who do you think Marv's got to be pulling for Kyle. So like how does he like what I mean? Like what if he's not gonna win? Like how's he gonna react? You get what I'm saying? Like he's not gonna be salty hopefully, but like you know what I mean? If his dude don't win.
Yeah, he'll be good, but if he's got to be pushing for Kyle, to be honest.
100%.
And if Kyle gets the job, they are going to force feed Marv.
Yeah. I'm starting to think, though, like, what if Marvin doesn't think Kyle's very good? Like, what if Marvin ever since high school has had this thought that, like, man, Kyle's overrated. I'm the one making him look this good, and secretly wants Devin.
Hey, this motherfucker.
I have both sides.
That motherfucker finna get the ball regardless.
Yeah,
so he's
yeah,
like,
you're
you
right.
know,
I'm gonna run to the restroom real quick. I gotta go real bad. So
I love this dude.
He's a character.
He said, "Got a blast."
He's gonna go blast real quick.
Awesome Jimmy Neutron shit, man.
Well, as Matt runs to the restroom, I gotta ask this: what are your top 5 or so, just best position groups on this Ohio State team for 2023, heading into with assuming no transfers?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
Soundbite. Let's do
the
it.
best unit is the defensive line.
Okay.
They're going to be unreal next year. They're
really
going to be absurd next year. They're going to have 4 freak shows on the line. That is their best unit. Second best unit is the linebackers because we know what we're going to get from them. Super consistent. Steel Chambers and Tommy E. Obviously are going to be big time. And then I know that they're working on a package, a set of packages to get CJ out there.
Yeah,
so I think that linebacker unit's going to be really reliable and then have moments of explosion because you could have times where CJ's come to the A-cap and not Steel Chambers on third downs.
Right.
No offense to Steel, I love Steel. Great kid, great family, really good linebacker. No more the running back turn linebacker. Like he's a really good linebacker, but
right
with that same violence as a guy like CJ because CJ's a lifetime defensive guy. For being real. So those are the top 2 units. I'm tripping. The best unit is the receiver room.
Yeah, I wasn't even thinking about that.
I'm bugging. Yeah, I'm bugging. They got the
It's all good. It's late. It's late.
They got the best player in the country, bro.
I honestly
like they have the single best player in college football.
Yeah.
So,
no debate.
Wide receiver room 1. Also, Jaden Ballard worked out last Friday and clocked in at 24 miles per hour. Kid's a burner.
Tough.
That's ridiculous.
I need to play, or I'm gonna fight somebody for real. Like I might throw hands with Brian Hartline. Receiver room 1, D line 2, linebackers 3. And outside of that, there's a lot of unknowns. I do think that the safety room is good. I don't feel comfortable enough putting them 4 though.
Yeah.
I think I have running backs 4 because I think we have 3 or 4 guys who legitimately I'd be okay with giving 15 carries a game. And to me, that means something. Mm-hmm. And then I really like the tight end room at 5. So that's my alignment. That's what I like. Those are the top 5 position groups. Okay. I was at the urinal so I was going to get a snack and Kevin Wilson at this hotel, the Blackwell or whatever.
Blackwell, yeah.
And Kevin Wilson was there, and this was before last season.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm talking to him a little bit about the tight ends, and okay. I'm like Kevin, like this is awesome. Like I love talking ball with you, but I gotta piss bad. Where do I got mad in the corner?
Yeah,
he's like, oh, me too. And I'm like, well, I don't know where the bathroom is. He was like, just walk and talk with me. So he waits me along, and we walk to the bathroom, and we're at the urinal. I'm glad he's not a grunter at the urinal because we all know those. We're at the urinal, and he's I'm just joking around. I'm like, all right, first play of the Notre Dame game is what? He's like, like I'm going to tell you, it could be a run or a pass. I'm like, all right, whatever. Like I could be the ops, who knows? A black Irish guy in Columbus, Ohio. But we're talking, and he's like, and he's swearing up and down. Like he's like, man, we're really excited for Joe Royer. We think once he gets healthy, like, yeah, verbatim.
Yeah,
he's the best tight end we've had here at Ohio State since I got here. I say, wow. I said, Coach, stop capping. Like you're capping crazy right now. Stop lying because I know you don't know what that means, Kevin. He's like, no, I swear. I said, you guys just had Jeremy Ruckert going around 3 or 4. He was like, I think he's better than Ruckert.
Damn.
He said all spring he was unguardable. Now he got mono in camp, missed 2 weeks, and it knocked him out of football shape, and he really struggled to get back. He lost a bunch of weight, and obviously you both know that for tight ends, like that weight means a lot, especially in an offense where they like to be 12 personnel. They ask you to pick things up, and then his mom passed away, and it's really sad, and so we never really able to get back to it. But then in the championship game or semifinal game, we saw him out there.
Yeah,
he looked athletic and he looked fluid. And a lot of times I wonder, like, why can't Ohio State have a real difference maker at tight end? Like Michael Mayers is great.
Yeah.
But he's not like an otherworldly athlete. He's just a really effective tight end.
Yeah.
And so I keep going back to Kevin Wilson just looking at me and telling me that he's better than Ruck. He's one of our best weapons we have. We just need him to get healthy and get right and put the weight back on. So I do think that tight end room with him, G. Scott, and Cade all returning could be a real positive. And I do know that there's talk about moving Cade Stover into more of that Mitch Rossi role to let the other guys go be more receiving threats. A lot of the packages we saw this year, Cade Stover was able to, make some plays, get some catches, but he's not near the athlete that a guy like Joe Royer is.
Right.
And having the difference in space is going to be a huge gap between the two. So that's how I feel about the tight ends, and that's why they're number 5 on my unit group.
Yeah, so Matt, you missed this. We were just bringing up the best units on this team overall. Kris was bringing up how he actually was told by Kevin Wilson at a urinal that Joe Royer is the best tight end that has been at Ohio State since he's been there. So, Kevin Wilson and over Jeremy Ruckert, even.
Said verbatim. Also, Kevin Wilson, really cool dude. I'm really glad he's not a grunter at the urinal, was my other part of that story.
Yeah.
Because
what urinal was that at?
Well, it was at the Blackwell urinal, 2nd floor.
You know the Blackwell, Matt, the hotel
What were you doing there?
What was I doing there? I was at an event. I was at a dinner.
Yeah, what were you doing there?
He was at a dinner. He just said it.
He's at a dinner. He just said it.
I was at a dinner. So he was there.
That shit take your hearing out, Matt? Jeez.
I think Matt's messed up is why he's so confused.
I was sending you guys pics. It was an NIL event.
That makes. I remember you. Didn't you see Julian Fleming and?
Yeah, I talked to Fleming because people were saying that I had the same hairline as Julian Fleming, and I was like, all right, my shit's definitely pushed back a little bit, but let's be reasonable.
Oh yeah, Julian Fleming's.
Yeah,
he might go bald soon.
He is he's crazy.
Yeah.
And so I was for me and Flem, but Fleming was there. I met Chris Holtman, nice guy.
That's cool.
A lot. There's a lot of guys there. So that's where I met Kevin Wilson, and that's what he told me at the urinal.
Sure. That's dope. I always think I do enjoy that hotel. Before, so most people will go out and tailgate before Ohio State games. What I do is I go in that hotel and look for the players to see if their mindset is right.
Don't they come out of that? Yeah, see,
there you go.
I've only ever been there one time.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So I got to be somewhat Matt's must be messed up. That's probably why
he's cool.
Oh, here we go. But
I had to get on my phone. Sorry, Kris, I was asking you why my connection went out again.
Got you.
I was asking you why you went to the why you were at the Blackwell. I didn't hear you say you were at a dinner or whatever was going on.
Oh yeah, I was at a dinner. Good old dinner.
Yes,
so sir. I was like, damn, you're taking a piss next to Kevin Wilson at the Black. I didn't know if you were trying to spy on the team or some kind of
no.
Because I'd be doing that shit all the time. Whenever we win a game,
I don't think he the ops for real though.
We'd be going to. I'd be walking up. We'd be going up to the Blackwell trying to fucking get in, watching them all walk around and shit, shit like that. So I didn't know if you were on some shit that I was on. I didn't know. But all right.
I wasn't. If I didn't live 2 hours away, I might be on some shit like that. No, but I went for a dinner.
Dude, I'm not even playing the COVID summer. 2020 summer, I would literally go up to the Lincoln Tower Fields right next to the stadium and try to find the players working out just to see if they were going hard and stuff. And Tough Borland was there running. And I was playing, I was messing around playing a 2-hand tap football game with these random kids that we met from the area. And they were yelling at each other, cussing at each other, they were going crazy. And Tough Borland told us to he was saying how much he hates those kids and how they're a terrible example, and how we should to never be like that. He was trying to group us in, me and who I was with them for a second, thought we were the ones doing it, but we weren't. And then he apologized to us.
Okay.
He was going crazy. He went off. I was like, wow.
Wisconsin Badger coach Tough Borland.
Exactly. That's his title now. He's no longer.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he joined the staff. So we hired Laurinaitis, and Luke Fickle said, "Nah, we're gonna get the real Buckeye legend at linebackers." And hired Tough Borland. It was like a response.
They got their guy. Wow,
they did get their guy. But I just think it's funny. All these, it is true. Me and Matt do be going to that hotel and just trying to see what they're up to.
Maybe you can run into Kevin. Well, Kevin Wilson's not there anymore, but maybe you can run into someone at the urinal.
Maybe. One time, I ran into Garrett Wilson's dad one time, and I was talking to him just about like the whole like thing with like how Garrett's like liking Ohio State and stuff, just to make sure, because it was that I think that was his freshman year. I just was hoping he wouldn't transfer to Tech. I know obviously he never would have done that, but
yeah,
I was just hoping
to call because they didn't think we would be playing football, so they thought they could poach him. But Garrett was locked in. She does.
Oh, he was locked.
Like,
he was locked. I was worried about him for a little bit.
I loved him. If he would have left, I would have drove down to Texas and gave Sark a beer to just get that thing off the rails again, bro. Like,
man.
I honestly, if Marvin would have left the USC this year, I would have just quit watching football and been in depression, because I would just the way if college football was headed that way to where we could just lose our best player, even though we just almost won a national title, that's when I would be on watch of doing some bad things.
They tried.
Yeah, we're glad you're not on that type of watch, Brady. But we're coming to the end of the show. Before we end this thing, Kris, you're a kid from Akron. The kid from Akron yesterday broke the NBA all-time scoring record. 2 questions for you, okay? Well, actually, not 2 questions. Obviously, one observation. Like, how great was that moment just to see a kid from the same city and all that stuff? And then, is he the GOAT?
That shit was crazy, bro, because not only Akron, and I tell people this, but like there's a very specific feel with being from like West Akron. Yeah. Like, and he's from West Akron as well. And like passing his school when I lived down there every day. My radio station, the one that I work for, being the first radio station to pick up high school games in Akron and cover him and like the guy who called those games being my mentor, like that shit almost made me cry, bro. I've only ever cried like twice watching sports, and one of them was the Derek Jeter walk-off single, his last game, and the other one was the 2014 Ohio State title. Like that shit meant so much for me. I mean, like as a kid, like collecting LeBrons, like collecting. I collect bronze 7s because the box is all Akron themed, and that's like my shoe of choice.
Yes, sir.
So yeah, that shit meant a lot. But with that being said, I don't think he's the greatest ever. I think that'll have to be a conversation said after he retires, and kind of we can see. But at least for me, he's the best to ever play. But for me, best to ever and greatest ever are a little bit different. When you start thinking about like greatest ever, you start thinking about like legacy and impact. And until kids start shooting balls into a trash can and saying LeBron, or until
I know this is going.
Until his work ethic transcends the sport of itself, like bro, my mom doesn't even like sports, bro, and she'll talk about Mamba mentality, and I'm like, that's really crazy.
Yeah,
and maybe and I started to think like maybe that's because Kobe died, but even before that, Kobe exemplifies like hard work across everything. Like motivational speakers talk about Mamba mentality. Tom Brady talks about how that mentality is what fueled him. It's like until LeBron has something like that attached to him, the same way Michael Jordan is tagged as like the most competitive dude ever, until we get something like that from LeBron, I'll struggle with calling him the GOAT, even though I think he's the best ever. In fact, I know he's the best ever. I think the gap is wide enough to where there's no conversation. But if you talk to real,
okay,
come on now, bro. Like,
I mean, I'm just saying for the people.
Yeah, no, I think the gap is wide enough. Like he's the best ever.
Okay, yeah.
But in terms of like greatest ever and impact, like fucking like bro, like I don't know how much you guys watch AAU ball, but I was watching some AAU ball like 3 days ago.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like I see a little 15-year-old kid chewing on his jersey while he walks the ball up the court.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, that's Kobe.
That's some Kobe shit.
Yeah. That's Kobe and Jordan. So until we get something like that attached with LeBron, I'll struggle to call him the greatest. But that's Akron's very own, and Akron has the best basketball player to ever play. And also, here we go. Steph Curry was also born in Akron. Hospital.
Yeah, he was.
Some of the water out here, bro. Some of the water out here.
Who knows?
Keep talking.
I consider myself top 5 in Akron history also. So it's like, damn, like it's me and Bron.
Top 5
Top 5.
Shit, I don't know.
I think
Curry's
top 5. Curry's top 5.
But Curry didn't grow up here.
Yeah, that's
No, he just was born, right? He was just born in the house.
He was born here. And he
you might crack the top 5. You might crack the top 5.
He's absolutely
man.
It goes.
I mean, we got fucking Paris Campbell, bro.
That's what I'm saying. It goes Braun, the dude who made tires, Paris Campbell, someone else probably irrelevant, and then Kris Drew. I love that.
What about Duran Grant?
Man, Duran Grant was hardly from Akron, bro. He was never outside.
Man,
like I was outside.
Shoot, we gonna have to wrap up though. Kris, keep cooking, bro. It's too hot up in here.
I was outside. Duran Grant wasn't outside. I was outside. I was on the corner.
You're closer to LeBron than Duran Grant.
I was doing hood rat shit with my friends. I was really outside.
Bro, Duran Grant got that natty. He got that natty, bro.
Yes, sir.
Kris is going to be somehow involved.
I left number 4 open. Duran Grant number 4.
All right. We got our list there. You got
to catch LeBron. You got to catch LeBron someday.
We'll see how the next however many years go with that shit. Oh man. But yeah, man, dude. As always, Kris, man, we always appreciate you coming on the show, man. This is awesome. Always dope. Fantastic for, you know what I'm saying? Like, we be in this bitch lit, though. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, man. With that being said, I'm Chase Johns, Brady King, Matt Ricketts, Kris Drew. We'll see you guys.